It was a tough day at the office for Japan's top male player. It was a far from perfect start at the Australian Open for Japanese 8th seed Kei Nishikori on Tuesday. The former US Open finalist looked on course for a shock defeat to Polish player Kamil Majchrzak before an unfortunate turn of events went in his favor. After an hour and 40 minutes of play, Nishikori trailed the match by 2-0 before his opponent was hit by severe cramping that severely impacted his movement. As a consequence, Nishikori clawed his way back to force a decider before a devastated Majchrzak called it quits with the score at 3-6, 6-7, 6, 6-0, 6-2, 3-0. It's unfortunate how we finished. I feel sorry for him. I wouldn't say it was a good game, because of how it ended, but I have to be happy for the next round, Nishikori said. I didn't play badly, but I have to give credit to my opponent who played better. He was amazing defensively and was stronger than I had imagined. His movements were restricted after the injuries, and all I tried to do was not lose my concentration. Nishikori's scare comes after what has been a solid start to his 2019 season. At the Brisbane International, he defeated Kamil Majchrzak in the final to win the title. His first on the ATP World Tour since February 2016. In Melbourne is hoping for a deep run with the goal of raising up the rankings. Nishikori is currently ranked 9th in the world, but hasn't been in the top 8 since June 2017. I have to be happy about reaching the next round because I almost lost today, Nishikori reflected. I will try to be more positive for the next round and hope I can keep playing better. I'm really happy to be back at the Australian Open, because last year I missed it due to my wrist injury. I hope I can have a good 2 weeks. There will be no room for complacency in his second round match. Nishikori is set to next face Ivo Karlovic, who fired 39 aces during his first round win over Poland's Hubert Hurkacz. Karlovic is the oldest man in the draw at the age of 39 and is playing in his 16th consecutive Australian Open main draw. Nishikori leads Karlovic 3-2 in their head-to-head. Alex de Minaur followed up his maiden title in his home city of Sydney with a 6-4, 7-5, 6-4 over Pedro Silva after 1 hour and 58 minutes to reach the second round at the Australian Open in Melbourne. De Minaur converted 4 of his 8 break points, dropped his serve once and hit 17 winners to 23 unforced errors, compared to 23-41 ratio for Sousa. The Sydney native broke serve at love in the 5th game and fought off a break point in the 8th game to take a 5-3 lead and sealed the first set 2 games later. He got a late break in the 11th game at 15 to close out the second set. De Minaur opened up a 3-0 lead with a double break. Sousa pulled 1 break back and fended off 2 match points at 5-3. De Minaur wrapped up the match 6-4 with a hold at 15. I am happy to be able to get away with a win today. It was pretty hot today, but I thought I managed the conditions really well. I am happy to get through in straight sets. I am feeling stoked. I am happy to be able to get away with a win. It was pretty hot today, but I thought I managed the conditions really well. I am happy to get through in straight sets. It's good to see the work paying dividends right now, said de Minaur. Last year's Australian Open finalist Marin Cilic also took a straight-set win, beating Bernard Tomic 6-2, 6-4, 7-6 in one of the most interesting matches of day 1. Cilic sailed through his service games and got 2 consecutive breaks to win the first set 6-2. Tomic failed to convert 3 break points in the second set before Cilic earned a break in the 10th game to seal the second set. Cilic broke serve to open up a 5-2 lead, but Tomic broke back in the 9th game to set up a tie-break. Cilic won the tie-break 7-3. Karen Khachanov came back from losing the first set to Peter Gojowczyk 3-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3. The young Russian player dropped his serve twice from the 3 break points he faced, and converted 5 of his 15 break points. Majchrzak broke serve in the sixth game of the first set to take a 4-2 lead and saved 2 break points in the ninth game to clinch the first set 6-3. Kachanov broke serve in the fourth game and held his service games to win the second set 6-3. He dropped his serve in the fourth game of the fourth set to trail 1-3, but he got the break back in the next game. Kachanov got another break at 3-3 and held serve in the 10th game to close out the third set. The 2018 Paris-Bercy champion broke twice to secure his spot in the second round, where he will take on Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka, who beat last week's Auckland champion and 2018 Australian Open quarter-finalist Tennys Sandgren. The three-time Grand Slam champion speaks out about his next step and the possibility of returning to the tour. Following a match that had been described as possibly the last of his career, Andy Murray admits that even he is unsure about what the future has in store for him. The former world #1 crashed out in a 5-set thriller to Roberto Bautista Agut at the Australian Open on Monday. Just minutes after his loss, Murray intrigued many when he said, "I'll do everything possible to try. If I want to go again, I'll need to have a big operation where there's no guarantees." Was this an indication that the British player is considering a U-turn on his decision to retire? Not entirely. Murray underwent surgery on his hip 12 months ago in Australia, but continued to experience pain since then. The Brit is now in talks with medical experts about having a second operation, one similar to what doubles specialist Mike Bryan underwent last August. "I have basically like 2 options. One is to take the next 4.5 months off, then build up and play Wimbledon," Murray explained in his press conference. "Although tonight was not comfortable in terms of my hip. At the end, I'm really struggling. I can't walk properly at all just now. I could play another match, but if I want to try to play again, I want to improve my quality of life, because even if I take 4 months, I still can't walk. I'm still in pain doing just basic day-to-day things. But having an operation like that, there's absolutely no guarantees I'd be able to play again. I'm fully aware of that. It's a really big operation. There's no guarantees that you can come back from that. But there is the possibility, because guys have done it before." It is this unpredictability that is raising doubts about the remainder of Murray's career, one that has seen him win 45 ATP titles and become the first player to defend an Olympic title. Should Melbourne be the city where he played his last match, the 31-year-old can take solace in his latest performance. "This might be my last match. If I go ahead with the operation, I don't recover well from it, then I don't play again. I'm aware of that," said Murray. "If today was my last match, it was a brilliant way to finish, as well. That's something that I'll probably take into consideration. It was an amazing atmosphere. I literally gave everything that I had on the court, fought as best as I could, and performed a lot better than what I should have done without the amount I've been able to practice and train. A decision on whether or not to go ahead with the operation will be made within the next week or so." Asked about an estimated recovery time, Murray refused to put a limit on it. U.S. 21-year-old Riley Opelka battled past John Isner 7-6, 7-4, 7-6, 8-6, 6-7, 4-7, 7-6, 7-5, after 2 hours and 58 minutes to produce the biggest upset of the first day of the 2019 Australian Open in Melbourne Park. Opelka won the battle between 2 of the tallest players on the ATP Tour. The match was dominated by serve and was marked by 4 tie-breaks, 87 aces, a combined 143 winners and just 5 break points. Isner hit 47 aces and won 5 points more than Opelka, but the younger U.S. player won the most important points. Isner lost for the second time in his career in the first round in Melbourne. Isner's defeat stopped the winning streak of 9 Grand Slam matches against his fellow U.S. players. Isner took a 6-4 lead in the tie-break of the second set, but 2.11 meters tall player Opelka won the final 4 points to win at 8-6. Isner got the first break of the match in the 5th game of the 4th set to take a 3-2 lead. The 2018 Wimbledon semi-finalist did not drop his serve in the whole match when he served to draw level at 2 sets apiece at 5-4 in the fourth set. Opelka broke back in the 10th game to draw level to 5-5 before sealing the win in the tiebreak after a misfired backhand and 3 forehand errors from Isner. It's a big win, but it's not like a breakthrough win. I am still barely top 100, so I still have a lot of progress I feel like has to be done, to continue to get my rankings up. Just being healthier, being stronger, just making sure my body does not break down during the year. I was ready to play a 5th set. That was my mindset. I got lucky to get a break. He missed a couple of spots on his serve, said Opelka.